Hi, welcome to She Spice. Late focus on Sha Brushes with an expanded examination from both the specialists and general society appears to have brought more individuals into the show, encompassing him. Ashton Kutcher, a long-term companion of Combs, gives off the impression of being the most recent superstar, making up for lost time in the blend. Their bond traces all the way back to the early 2000s, when they were both vigorously engaged in creating shows for MTV. Kutcher knew off the outcome of his show Punk'd, got a call from Brushes, and they, before long, ended up handling the New York City long-distance race together. And he came over, and I was like, I'm going for a run. He resembles gracious. I'll go for a run with you. From that point forward, their kinship has areas of strength. Ongoing occasions have pushed Kutcher into the spotlight close by Brushes because of a few past comments re-emerging during the interview on Hot Ones. Kutcher was interrogated regarding his fellowship with Brushes and the scandalous parties he was known for tossing. While Kutcher's reaction was at first ignored, it's currently being returned to considering the mounting allegations against Brushes. Ashton remarkably evaded the inquiry, suggesting there were perspectives he couldn't transparently examine. He enigmatically indicated this by expressing that I have a ton I can't tell prior to stopping to consider. I can't tell that one either. In those days, it seemed like innocuous fun, with only two companions sharing a giggle. However, presently, with women specialists striking Diddy's home in association with an illegal exploitation test, individuals are investigating Ashton's past remarks. They're addressing whether he could host and find out about those gatherings. He uncovered that he neglected something obscene happening. This isn't the first time Ashton has faced a public investigation. Simply last year, Ashton and his better half, Mila Kunis, confronted a reaction for remaining by That 70s Show co-star Danny Masterson, who was sentenced for SA2 Ladies and is right now carrying out a 30-year jail sentence because of the whole circumstance. One of Danny's casualties and his previous sweetheart, Chrissy Carnell Bixler, have decided to stand in opposition to Ashton Kutcher and Danny Masterson. Her disclosures are very shocking and offer another point of view on the story, so how about we begin? Chrissy Bixler courageously approached as one of Danny Masterson's casualties in November 2017 and out of 2019. She, along with entertainer Bobette Riaz and two unknown ladies, documented a claim against Masterson in the Congregation of Scientific Logic. As of late, she posted a progression of meetings with Ashton Kutcher in which he uncovered an upsetting bet made by Masterson offering Kutcher $10 to French kiss a then 14-year-old Mila Kunis. When Kutcher was 19, he had the option to then take the following action. To know that and to hear this is truly tormenting and frightening. Kutcher was 20 years old in a clasp from a 2002 episode of The Rosie O'Donnell Show, where Kutcher and Kunis showed up together. Kutcher admitted to O'Donnell that they were educated they would have many kissing scenes, and he communicated worries about the legitimateness of it because of Sis's age. At the time she was 14 when we began the show. I resembled 19 right, and they're similar to approve you folks will be. Causing out in this situation, and I'm similar to thinking like this, resembles Slight the Entertainer then. At that point, unveiled that Masterson made a bet with Kutcher offering him do one in the event that he French kissed her during their most memorable kiss on the set, which likewise turned out to be Mila Kunis' most memorable kiss. In actuality, Kunis said it was like the primary week I was a 14-year-old young lady, and I was very terrified for my life. A similar video has additionally circled on the web. Based Entertainment Stage X, where one individual composed Muni's, I was a 14-year-old young lady named Ashton Kutcher and Danny Masterson wagering doll 10 for a developed man to put his tongue in a kid's mouth. Realizing it was his first kiss and she needed to do it for the show in a real sense, which was so nauseating. Bixler likewise shared an explanation on Instagram in regards to the insight about Masterson being condemned to 30 years to life for 2 counts of R she composed. I'm still handling all that occurred at the condemnation. I will say that the previous evening I had my first strong and quiet night stay in bed for quite a while. I simply need to thank the accompanying individuals for their resolute battle in assisting us with getting equity. Bixler proceeded to name the noteworthy adjudicator, Omo DDA. Reinhold Mueller, DDA, and Ariel Anson George Gaskin, and the L's office criminal investigator Javier Vargas casualties, advocate Rosario Mariscal Holy Messenger, and savage defender Lee Remini Ringer Mike, a Smithlin Yasher Ralisa Bartley from a BC7L, my inconceivable spouse. Cedric Bixler Zavala, and from my sister survivors, Jen Nisha Bobette, Trisha Kathleen, and his other survivors, known and obscure, I trust you're all encountering equity, and I supplicate profound mending for all of us. She closed her post by saying Danny Masterson won't ever hurt one more person until the end of time. To every one of the survivors of Scientology, we aren't done at this point. She additionally responded to the viral recordings of Ashton Kutcher and presently previous 7S show Heartbreaker. Ashton Kutcher is right now winding up amidst a resurgence, but not the sort he could have expected. The entertainer is presently confronting a critical internet-based reaction as clasps from his past re-emerge following his help for his sitcom co-star Danny Masterson, like it resembled war games. Yet no one was going to take your photos, so you could truly wild out yet, and no one would understand what you did the previous evening. I have more photographs of Commando Kutcher here. Chrissy then utilized her Instagram story to post old recordings of Ashton Kutcher from the mid-2000s. These clips exhibited cases where Kutcher made unseemly remarks with a specific spotlight on underage entertainer Hilary Duff. What's more, his now sister Mila Kunis McGuire likewise has a collection out. She will be in a film considered less expensive by the dozen, and she's one of the young ladies that we as a whole are hanging tight for to turn 18. In a video from a 2003 episode of Punk'd, Kutcher said something about vocalist and entertainer Hilary Duff, who was just 15 at the time, further confusing issues. Bixler shared an old clasp from something similar. Rosie O'Donnell's appearance, in which Kunis described an awkward occurrence. Kutcher had obviously made a side joke with Masterson about French kissing her when she was just 14, highlighting a cautionary dismissal for limits and assent regardless of whether it was implied as a simple joke. At the time, one more rediscovered cut highlighted a young Muni, situated on Ashton Kutcher's lap in a limited-time video for that 70S show. In this clasp, Kutcher offered improper remarks while giggling and taking part in actual associations with Kunis, who showed up noticeably awkward. The clasps shared by Bixler stand out to these past occurrences, determined to consider Kutcher responsible for his remarks and conduct, particularly with regards to his help for Danny. Bixler has even drawn matches between Kutcher's way of behaving and that of Masterson, who was sentenced for R. The debate encompassing Kutcher and Kunis came to its peak when they composed strong letters for Masterson before his condemnation. In these letters, they applauded Masterson's personality and conveyed their conviction that he didn't represent a progressive danger to society. These assertions sparked broad public shock as they seemed to minimize the seriousness of Masterson's violations and subvert the voices of the casualties. The Kunis, who are presently hitched to Kutcher, underlined Masterson's job as a spouse and father to his girl, depicting it as really excellent. She likewise attributed Masterson's faithful obligation to deter substance use. She wrote in her letter that over the course of recent memory, Danny has shown to be an astonishing companion, partner, or more every one of the more remarkable and seasoned sibling figures to me, with his mindful nature and capacity to offer direction. He has been instrumental in my development, both actually and expertly. Seeing his communication with his girl has been endearing and illuminating. She further added that he focuses on his family, schooling, and joy. Regardless of anything else, exhibiting his immovable obligation to being a cherishing and capable parent as a dad, he shows others how it is done, imparting in her qualities that reflect honesty, empathy, and regard for others. Kunis additionally expounded on Danny's impact on her. She composed his effect on me in such a manner, which has been significant in an industry where the tensions and enticements of substance use can be overpowering. Danny played a vital role in directing me away from such disastrous ways. Kutcher communicated comparative feelings in his letter to the court, portraying Masterson as a magnificent good example and a committed and faithful spouse rather than the portrayal of Masterson as one of his casualties. Kutcher described an occurrence where Masterson boldly came to the guard of a weak lady. He wrote in the letter, "While I'm mindful that the judgment has been given a role as blameworthy on 2 counts of R by forcibly, and the casualties hold on to an extraordinary craving for equity. I trust that my demonstration of his personality is thought about in condemning him. I don't completely accept that he is a continuous mischief to society, and having his little girl raised without a current dad would be a tertiary unfairness. All by itself, these letters were made public daily after Los Angeles Province unrivaled court judge Charlene Allo gave a sentence for Masterin, except if effectively pursued. This sentence basically implies that the entertainer will not be qualified for parole until he arrives at senior resident status anyway. The reaction to Kutcher and Cooney's was prompt and cruel, with many blaming them for focusing on their companionship with Masterin over supporting SA survivors in light of the backfire. Subscribe She Spice for more videos.